I want thermal imaging inside of a ghost hunt. Oh, come on, guys, it's interactive.
Because there's different temperatures.
Yeah.
Temperatures, but how?
The ghosts.
Hot or cold?
Oh, cool.
Right, we're looking for cold spots. So you guys should be able to see me in there, right? Red, orange, and yellow guy. And this is going to work out really well tonight because I'm the hottest thing inside the picture, ladies. Sorry, fellas, but that's the way how that goes. So, yeah, see? I get the laughter going. Now, we're looking for blue and black. That's the cold spots. We're either looking for them to take shape or to move on their own. I also look for 15-degree temperature drops, and there is a blue dot bouncing around the screen that is showing you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. It's kind of a guideline when you guys get your video back of how to actually watch the video. So now that the tutorial is already on there, I'm going to stop.
They want us to tell it.
No, I'm not going to tell it. The weird thing is that the person that involves actually has the same name as me. So.
Oh, that's scary.
And he spells it the same way too, because Nicholas is spelled, a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
So, and it's spelled the same way with an N-I-C-H. So it's the old original Greek-Italian style.
Yep.
All right, so welcome to your first base, legitimate first base. Now that you guys have your equipment and know what the heck you're doing, so it's a parking lot. Congratulations, you made it.
All right.
I know if you guys don't know where to park by the time I'm done with you, I can't help you any further. Like I really can't. So this space used to be something. This used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion. Sat in the front of this space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden is lined up with Five Church Restaurant over there and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. So I always like to give you the layout of the land when we're here, so that way you kind of know how to explore. So two things, all you communication device people, I am not going to be giving you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red barn. You're going to get the answers from your spirit boxes. And again, I will withhold information purposely, so that way none of you are getting like crazy subliminal messages from me. So the other piece here is there's a lot of parked cars. So again, cameras, you kind of know the drill. What is this place? Who the heck were Eliza and Charles Pinckney? They had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's three different Charleses. Now you should be able to see why we look for a secondary verifier to verify which Chuck we're chatting with. So again, that's why we look for the secondary clue all the time. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. Like, that's a big deal for us. However, I hate politics more than everybody here. I can guarantee it. So we're going to move on. Because if I don't bring up the signer of the Constitution bit, it normally comes back in a negative way. Like, through your spirit boxes, like, tell them, or something along those lines, like, sign paper, like, very angry kind of mentality. So I'm like, I always have to mention it. So here's who Eliza was. We're going to talk about her. She actually has a much deeper story anyway. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards, not the colonial times that she came from. If you're going to ask her how old she was when she married Charles, it's not going to be like 12 and 14. So think of today's standards. The reason I bring this up is because Charles was over double her age. Creepy age gap in the 1700s, definitely a creepy age gap now. So kind of keep that in the back of your brains. But she married him because her father, who was over in England where she's from, thought he was dying, and he's trying to bring all of his children home one last time. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put and got married. You don't get married in 1744 for a green card. We're not even a country yet. She did marry Charles out of love, and no, there was no foul play, because everybody loves to ask. But she was correct. Dad did not die right away. He starts sending her gifts from England to this space. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. You guys have been in town for at least a few hours that I know of. You've seen the word indigo somewhere. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. That's how we use it today. So again, when she got the seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's not always hot here. Once she figured it out and did some experimentation, she moves it to a plantation, turns it into a cash crop, and calls Dad and says, hey, rice plantations are going downhill. We can make a killing with this indigo. Now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. This is the boring business stuff of Eliza. You guys are all here for the weird, so we're going to go through the weird. So I usually go through like a series of questions for those of you with communication devices, so you kind of know what kind of questions to ask in this kind of location. With the Ouija board, I'm sorry, but I don't have a set of questions for it. You can cherry pick and kind of see whatever sparks your fancy, basically. So with yours, go after Eliza's death. Anything you want to. How old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. These are very specific questions, so kind of keep that in mind. I'm going to be keeping you behind, so that way you can learn more about your device. With yours, Judy, a couple of things with yours. First off, I want you to go after the marriage question. How old she was, maybe how old Charles was, or what year did they get married? Obviously, you know it was 1744, so kind of keep that in the back of your brain. Okay. But I also want to tell you that Eliza, the one we just talked about, was not the first wife named Eliza from Charles. He had a first one named Eliza as well. She died in January of 1744. 5 months later, he marries the one we just spoke about. Yeah. Kind of a stupid move or smart move, depending on what kind of person you are. So, both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. We'll try to figure out which Eliza we're dealing with.
Okay.
Those names have both popped up on that particular spirit box, along with all of those numbers I just gave you.
Okay.
Let's see. Who else has a spirit box? Yours. So, the two of you got two separate types. So with yours, because it normally only gives us like 1 to 2 syllable terms, I want you to go after what happened to the man. Go. You're up and running. Yours is the very top right button. So just tap it once, and it should start. Give it a second. That didn't do it. Try it again.
How come there's so much heat?
Yep, there we go.
Like right.
Because your finger is over the camera. Other side. There you go.
It's
The
right
camera's
by
down on
this
the
finger,
lower
yep.
left-hand side.
Oh, I didn't know where. Oh shit! I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, that's why you just
Hold
want
it
to
by
kind of hold it
hold
one-handed.
it like by the edge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not by the camera. Because if you grab the
This side,
camera, it
okay.
will fall out.
Yes. All right.
All right, so get that other spirit box unmuted, Michaela, so you're good to go with getting it unmuted. Tons and tons of pictures, Lyanne, so just make sure no license plates are in there. And I'll be following up with everybody here after I go through Steve's device with him. So let's spread out. We don't go in between vehicles. Just kind of keep that in mind. But have you heard anything from
Like I'm still getting the blotch. Look, the fingers are not in front of there.
Well, aren't you supposed to be getting blue?
What are you actually looking for?
I don't know.
Well, you got me in the picture, so what do you
I'm
see?
supposed to have somebody in the
Well,
picture.
I'm in the picture, right?
Yeah. I'm supposed to. Whoop! I almost broke my ass. I need somebody in the picture for the heat signature.
There's a book. These words don't change fast.
Hmm? Get the glasses again.
Got it?
I don't think this thing is recording.
James. Ooh, look at that. James, look how high it's going up.
James.
I just got chills.
Drew.
Holy moly. I just getting chills.
See, when the lights go really high, that's okay. You're good. Sorry. You're
Sorry
good.
about that.
I did. I asked how many children and what their names were and how many boys. And I heard the word children. That's it. And okay, then we'll start with how many. Over there, I told him though I heard the number 44, and then he said the year was 1744. Yeah, that is good. I would never have done it.
Yes.
These go really high. That's your name?
It's all part of the aesthetics of the app.
Oh, okay. Well, the name is James and Bruce came up. And then it said consent, and now it's saying conception. So it's lying.
I don't know.
So, what are the words? Like, what is it picking up from other areas?
So it's also scanning through the radio stations, just like the other
Okay,
spirit boxes.
okay.
That's what these numbers are here in the top left.
Okay.
So if it recognizes a term, that's when it puts it up on the screen. It's also going to give us bullshit like this evil that's on there right now.
Yeah.
Again, we're not in an evil place.
Right.
So again, that's why 80% of it's going to be garbage.
Right.
The game you and I are playing with this is it coming up with words just from the app and hearing things, or
Right.
is it somebody actually influencing it?
Right.
So you're going to find out like
We
this.
have to determine through the history if they're actually trying to see.
Exactly. So I will tell you, like that left in that walk piece, I was excited about that. Even coming over here, because that's like believable. So, in a nutshell, one of the children, his name was Thomas, fought in the Revolutionary War battle. He shot his left leg and was walking on a cane the rest of his days. So again, left is wrong. Have a little bit to go on, but I want to make it. But yeah, it's really vague, but again, we're still going to write it down just because you did hear something. The voices, I don't normally care about the gender unless it's disembodied. So remember, you're using radio stations, so you can hear a female DJ come through, and it might be Charles trying to give us a message of when he was born. So, yeah. I like how you're like right on top of it.
Yeah.
Love
I'll
it.
let you know if I get a chill. Then you can just aim it at me. You know?
What?
If I get a chill, you can aim it at me.
Yeah, I'm not picking up anything here.
Well, he wasn't impressed with anything.
You gotta start talking. What's the name? Isaiah?
No. You said Thomas was
No, he married a woman.
Oh, no. The women's last name started with an L. And their first names were the same. I have such bad memory, I would never be able to find Want me to stand in front of you?
Yes, then
Is this good?
yeah.
I don't feel any chills. Let's walk around and see if I feel a chill somewhere. 'Cause
All
I
right.
felt a chill here.
All right, I'm gonna follow you. We gotta work as a team.
Yeah, because when I was here before, I felt a chill.
I heard today. Yes, I heard.
This is good. Change the mood.
Yeah.
Kids were depressing us.
Distraction.
Huh?
With distraction. You need to do something. You can't just sit around and look at each other.
I don't. Yeah, I don't like it.
That's what I'm saying. Tomorrow we'll go out or something, even if it's just for a walk.
All right, you stay in front of me.
Well, I
But
walk
watch where
around.
you're walking, because
All right.
so
I know.
divots.
This doesn't change that often anymore.
Are you supposed to be asking questions?
I don't think so. He's just supposed to say if any words pop up about their past. And I don't know if you're not supposed to be talking. I guess you are. I just don't know what to ask.
Well, ask him.
Are you happy? I said, are you happy? Do you feel like they were considered?
Huh?
I've only had it in maybe 2 months. And that was like the second or third night that I've had it. How you doing with yours?
I haven't seen this. I'm following Judy around. She usually gets a vibe.
Okay.
So should she be asking any questions? Or
She's got a couple like about the maiden names and obviously the ages at marriage. Like those are good questions for that spirit box. Like I've seen the answers come up out of that.
You hear that? You're supposed to be asking a couple of questions.
And she just focuses on one. It's whatever people are comfortable with. Not everybody's everybody's comfortable with just asking open air questions. So,
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, however people are wanting to work on this.
How about like, why'd you get married twice?
Well, it wasn't Eliza, it was Charles.
Oh, all right.
Charles is the one that got married twice.
Is that a good question?
He's poking the bear a little bit, but I just told you the first wife
Isn't that what you
died.
want to do? Poke the bear a little?
Well, these are very respectable, prominent people, and I
Okay.
have gotten nasty messages in here when I've had
Really?
like groups in here like being very disrespectful.
Okay.
Like when I say like people being disrespectful,
Like
Right.
really saying bad things.
yeah, and then I get a just leave us alone in a disembodied voice, meaning not radio chatter, and it's like, oh shit, we gotta
Yeah.
go.
Go. They don't want to see it.
Well, mine's a legitimate question.
Yeah, it is. But you know, the first wife died. You've taken tons of pictures. Have you
I
seen any?
am.
What happened to your colors? You turned it off.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. Have you seen any colors?
All right, I'm going to follow you around.
You can take 5 pictures. You can take 5. It doesn't matter.
You need the glasses?
No, I can see it. The print's pretty big. And Woody, I don't know exactly what you're looking for. Just blue or black? Is that what he said? You're looking for blue or
Blue.
black?
Like a blue.
Like that's blue though.
Yeah, but I think
That's
like
the
that.
sky.
I think we're looking for a figure.
Or like a bouncing, something bouncing in blue or black.
Let's go back to...
What about industry? We're talking about the indigo dye.
Is there something about Avery?
I'm looking at somebody else heard the name John, and you have the word huge, and we were just near Big John's.
69. Yeah. There we go.
I just heard the number 3.
What we got going on that Ouija board?
You getting anything over there?
She said a name and it just lit up, but that was like the back corner. I was like, oh.
Why did he say I have the word evil? He said, "Oh, don't worry about that. That's not nothing." Like, how do you know?
It's like,
How
don't
do you-
worry, it's
How
fine.
do you know?
What was that?
Which colors are you supposed to be concerned with?
It just flickers back and forth. We just need the numbers.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. If it gets to 2, what did he say?
It's like up to 20 or something. Like I got a 17.4. I was like, oh, that's good. That was just like,
Oh, as I get closer to you, it seems like it...
it could be. Because then like if,
Oh.
Right, it's that. Smells like pee.
Oh, we're next to the dumpster.
Oh, are we next to the dumpster?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
there's a
what you
dumpster
smell.
back in the corner. We're gonna move back to the back here. You guys have given me plenty of notes, so let's kind of go through the answers.
Should I
Sorry,
clear the
it
history
smells. No,
once
I'm
we
just
go
kidding.
through? Nick? Should I clear it once I go?
No. We're gonna save the whole list.
All right. How do I go back?
Huh?
There it is.
Good job.
Julian.
Well, it got loud all of a kinds of tones going on over there. What do you got going on?
It's just flickering back and forth.
A lot of green?
A lot of green.
Okay.
Do I stop
No
recording?
numbers.
Yeah, go ahead with your video. Stop recording. So with the EMF numbers that I gave you guys earlier, like we got, it was a high school game 18. So that was at the Pinky Mansion site. I usually explain what these numbers mean, but we're going to be experimenting with that device at this location. Behind your TV, you have a bunch of wires. So if you replace Steve's device behind your TV, that thing's going to read about 40 to 60 milligauss of electricity behind your TV. So this, somewhat safe level. So you're still good to go. Put it next to a microwave, it's going to run about 150 to 170. So, and that's with it running on high. Now, the highest I've ever seen that device go has been at the last space that we were just in, the Pinckney Mansion site, 214 milligauss. I will tell you, we left. Like, those are dangerous levels for a guy with seizures. Like, we're not playing around with that. We got the hell out of here. That's why I asked you if you see triple digits, just let me know. But again, it was confirmed. I'm the one that saw it, so that's why we left. So, we're going to be experimenting with that. But did you guys hear anything or see anything along the way, like, as far as your spirit box work? I already got yours written down, Michaela, so you're good.
No, just said fragile.
DUI.
DUI. I don't know. I'm going to look up those initials to see if that's anything.
And they have key.
I have a few other ones, but that one's the one when we first entered it.
Just key?
Key.
Okay. So, Katie, anything on yours?
I just heard Utah, but it could have been talking about a basketball game.
Even still.
But yeah, Utah. Can you tell me if this is something?
I know we were chatting, so I think that kind of deters when you're trying to listen to me at the same time. So here's why I asked you guys for names, by the way. So let's kind of get into the history of this location. You getting any kind of weird anomalies on there?
Can you tell me if this is something?
Yeah. Maybe step in place of
Is purple light right there? Because like there's no light right there, and it's just slightly below the security camera.
Keep an eye on it. Maybe take a few steps closer just to kind of get a clearer focus on it. Nice and slow movements. We'll get you up there.
Right behind you.
We'll step over you as we come by. What's it look like now?
That's, I don't know. What are we gonna do?
You sure it's not that bush and brush right there? Well, you got some footage of it, so come on back while you're still alive. Sounds like a lot of letters are coming through. Maybe you want to turn down the sensitivity a little bit. So here's why I'm asking you guys for names along the way. When we crossed over that last crosswalk coming down East Bay Street, that's where the original Charlestown Wall used to be. So you're standing on one of the first streets we ever had. I have the list of residents of every person that's ever lived down here. And I'm not discrediting like what she's finding, but it's much easier to see on a computer screen tomorrow morning. So if she's gathering the footage, that's what I'm going to be looking at. So, did you see anything crazy in there that you can make out? Okay, it's okay. I'm still going to watch all the footage anyway. But the names you guys normally give me are Benjamin and John, and that's usually on the way here and inside the alley. Here's the funny thing about that list that I have. It's not very lengthy of the people that live here. It's about 2 to 5 people that live here in that specific year. Yeah, these giant buildings weren't here. We're kind of shocked at that. Benjamin and John both live here. The only piece of information that I have, other than John likes to give us his last name because there were 4 different Johns that lived down here. His last name was Johnson, which means his mother was evil and named him John Johnson. So, again, we will get John Johnson and the name Benjamin all in the same evening every 6 to 7 weeks. It's kind of a creepy sound effect for your guys'
Yeah,
girlfriends
really.
on your audio,
What the heck?
So, now here's where things get weird with that every 6 to 7 weeks. I can't pinpoint exactly what day it's going to occur, and I don't tell you guys anything about a Benjamin before we start here. So, you guys are hearing those names. Here's why it's happening. The bricks you're standing on. These things are called Belgian blocks. They've been here since 1739 that we know of. Okay? The historians can't even get an exact pinpoint. They're made of granite. And anything that is made of the earth directly is said to hang on to the memories of the things that occurred around it. We keep getting those names every 6 to 7 weeks on a loop. So again, it's almost a guarantee. I just never know when it's going to occur. And I don't put a subliminal message into your head on the way here. So every once in a while, we'll get a third name. That name is Jane. We don't hear that name too often anymore, do we? And especially on a radio station. That's the third out of 5 people that lived here in 1801. I can't find anything about what went on down here in 1801. All I know is it's the same 2 to 3 people trying to get in touch. Before people lived here, the Freemasons had a Masonic lodge here. This is called Lodge Alley. That's where it gets its name from. We will get terms relative to the Freemasons from time to time, founding fathers, symbols, Mason, Freemason, and the term Illuminati loves to come up on the 2 red spirit boxes. First off, they're listening to radio stations. Who the hell is talking about the Illuminati on the radio? Second, why are we only hearing it while we're in here? 6 times last year alone, 3 times so far this year. So again, all of it confirmed. I don't count any of them that haven't been confirmed, and it's always before I even mention Freemasonry at this spot. It's usually on the way in. They'll laugh and say, I just heard the word Illuminati. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. So again, we're going to get something else. But again, all 9 of those have been confirmed, so pretty cool stuff. Here's what's going to happen from here. Remember, this isn't a space where we're going to ask questions, and I wasn't necessarily waiting for you guys to hear Benjamin and John, because we're in week 4 of the loop. So again, 6, 7 is where I normally you guys start to pick up on those things. But we're going to go to another alley. However, I can't take you all the way through it from end to end like what we're doing now. I've been kicked out. So we're going to stay to one side of it because we're going to stay pretty close to the street side just because it is a staple for other ghost tours. And again, you're going to see, I'm going to talk about how I got kicked out of there because it's actually part of the story. But at the same token, it is a very unique space. And again, if you take any other ghost tour in town, they still tell the same story, but I tell it differently because of what you're doing. You're looking for different details out of your equipment. So again, I have a lot more details than the normal guys that just recite a script. So kind of keep that in the back of your brain. As we exit the alley, we're going to stop our video cameras because we don't record houses. That's a neighborhood up there. We are going to be going directly across the street, cutting through another parking lot to get to that dark alley. It's not so much dark as this one, but again, it's still kind of a creepy alley. But anything going on with the word list and or the Ouija board before we leave the space?
The letter D. That's the only letter that's on here.
Oh, by the way, we didn't do our little experiment. So with yours, these granite bricks are not supposed to hold any kind of electromagnetic field at all. No electricity. Even when you break them, like some crystals that you can break and it will release an electric charge, nothing out of granite. Put your device on any dry brick. Just literally set it on the ground. If you get a reading above, say, a 2.5, I'll be excited, but we have seen it go all the way up to 15 as we near that 6 to 7 week marker. Do you have anything going on with it? No. Yeah, go ahead and pick it up. If we don't get it right away, it's usually not going to be there. Super weird. We're going to let these folks pass it. Come on, get through, guys. You're good. We'll split the C's for you. All right, so that's normally like the experiment that I like to do, but again, I wasn't really expecting much anyway because we're in the middle of the loop. So if I get something in the middle where it's like a 5, I'm like, okay, something might be happening. Definitely pay attention to the recordings. So I just kind of wait to see if the meter's going to capture anything.
Rose, bloodletting,
Wow.
remark, sunset, respondent, and discussion.
Those are all here?
The ones that were here were rose, sunset, remark, and bloodletting.
So here's the interesting thing about rose and bloodletting. Those are actually relevant to our next space, a bleed over. Again, we're not going to hear from Big John and the Pinckneys, from where we're at now because we're too far away. But the next space, we could be getting bleed over, and rose is definitely relevant, as is bloodletting. I'm going to explain that once we get to the next space.
I've never heard that term before, ever.
It'll make more sense once we get there.
Okay.
So, yeah, very cool stuff. I'm excited. This is me excited, everybody.
That's your step.
I'm watching. As I walk, I'm looking around. It's like I'm back in New York driving a car.
You have Jack.
I spelled Jack again.
In order.
79.
Let me get the history. Yours
I
is
just
like
don't
the-
know if I'm supposed to be.
I know, you're like the one open air where it can be disruptive for me.
Sorry.
Again, I want to focus on that and not tell the history to you guys. Yeah, definitely kill the REM pod in here. We're not going to get a whole lot of promotion without paying attention to the numbers. So, welcome to Philadelphia Alley, everybody. This is like I said, a staple for Charleston. As other tourists start to come through here, we'll kind of split the seas and kind of let them get to their spot.
We're not fighting them, right?
No, we're not fighting. I
Okay.
know we can take them.
Okay. All right.
Especially if he's tour guide to tour guide. Have you seen this guy?
Yeah. I think you can do it, man. Hmm?
Hey, how you all doing?
Hey, how you doing? How's it going?
Not yet.
Alright, so this place used to be called Duelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. We all talk about one specific duel because we can all prove that it happened. So, here's how this goes. Again, different details than what they're telling down there. Doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of cash from her dead parents. She's an attorney, helping her out with all this money. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's cash. So he tells
It's
Amanda,
her doctor.
get rid of the doctor. So, I may write that one down. So, yeah, the doctor shows up here all the time, and we'll get his full name too. So if somebody hears Brown-Eyed Girl on the other one, yeah, that happens a lot here too. So, Dr. Ladd comes to Charleston to prove to Amanda and her attorney that he's not after her money. So, as he's coming into town, the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a very good start to his stay in Charleston, but somebody was walking by. His name was Ralph Isaacs. I'm going to stop on Ralph for a second. Again, ghost hunting. He has the same initials as where the doctor came from. R.I. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. So again, R.I., even before we had the Ouija board, was showing up on the spirit boxes all the time. It was the weirdest thing. So again, it wasn't like I was searching for like a R.U. and I am. It was like R.I. Like we'd get it all the time. It was so weird. But anyway, Ralph tells the doctor, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you and take all your cash. Now, this guy just graduated med school, so he looks like he's got a lot of money. Dr. Ladd is like, okay, so what do you want me to do? He's like, I got some friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them. You heard 79, not close enough. But 59 Church Street is known as the Thomas Rose House. So you had the word Rose on the way here. So again, I'm excited about Rose because it does show up here and we have the word doctor. Hopefully we get the number 59 as well or the name Thomas. Thomas Rose has nothing to do with the story, but that's what it's known as to the people that live down here. It's not 59 Church Street to them, it's Thomas Rose House, because they all have names. So, you can stay there and you'll be safe. Dr. Ladd takes him up on the offer, and him and Ralph become friends. The longer the doctor's in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's showing Amanda that he's not after her cash, he's making his own. Amanda's moving down soon. She's going to come to Charleston, which means the doctor is whistling all the time. He's a happy guy. He becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. Every haunted city you will ever visit in the future has a cliched whistling ghost. I will bet my paycheck on it. That's just how it goes. We do have proof of this one. I'm going to get to that. However, Ralph and Dr. Ladd go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other. The doctor makes more money. Gets better seats. It's just the way the hierarchy went in Charleston. They go see Richard III one night from Shakespeare. And they're arguing over the actress on the way home. So the doctor thought she was fantastic. Ralph, not so much. So it turns into a heated argument when Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée back home in Rhode Island. They go their separate ways. Ralph being from here, he has friends at the newspaper. He goes to the newspaper and puts an ad telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Dr. Ladd sees this newspaper ad and rebuttals with, let's go to Duelers Alley. We're going to settle this. Somebody's going to die. So they come down, they take their 10 paces, they turn. The doctor pointed his gun in the air. He shot. It was one shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which was quite often what happened at a duel. Ralph has his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap of the doctor. The doctor doesn't die. He drops to the ground, and his friends pick him up and carry him home to 59 Church Street, and he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. You gotta remember, he's a doctor. He probably tried to, release the blood himself, bloodletting. So he had bloodletting. So again, all of these clues, I'm like, yes, that's a good one. So he tried to release the blood himself, but he died anyway. So the campfire part of this is what they're all telling is that as you walk through the alley, you can hear the whistles from the doctor. Do you guys hear how quiet it is back here, aside from the tour guides talking down there? It's always like this. No matter how busy of a Saturday afternoon we have on East Bay Street, it's always like this. So I used to take my teams all the way through here, and it was before we started using earbuds with these spirit boxes. It was about turn those things down. We're going to listen to the voice recorder later on. Now, keep in mind, if you're going to do this on your own, because we're not going that way, we're going out that way. Turn on your voice recorders on your phone, see if you get any whistles later on. Keep in mind, every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street down here is going to throw a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night, so especially since I've been thrown out of here. So we're going to end up this way. Yeah, I know, it's funny. When my daughter's on the tour, we race to see who's going to throw the whistle first. So,
Took the city to court and won.
I wait till the other tours pass so they don't hear how I got moved out. Again, this is a staple. That's why I don't always come in here. I usually tell the story outside the alley and kind of let them have it. But we've been getting weird stuff down here lately with our gear. But anyway, here's how I got booted out. So I used to take people all the way down to the other side, and I would show off the bricks down there because this alley at one point didn't always go all the way through to Cumberland. It stops just past this gate, which we're going to talk about the gate too. But those bricks down there, they're older. So they're sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's one full handprint from a slave child down there and fingerprint swipes. That means those kids had to turn those bricks to bake them in the sun instead of being baked in an oven. So I would take my folks down there, and I treat that the same way I do a grave. That kid is not staring at that brick in the afterlife. Everybody wants to try to get a spirit box or a reading from an EMF detector or something around it. One night, November 26th of 2020, yes, it's important on the dates, my entire team of 10 decided to huddle around that one brick with the handprint trying to get a reading. I'm trying to hurry them along because that's right outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. We're not allowed in residential areas. Like, that's kind of the cutoff. Lodge Alley is literally as far as we're allowed to go that way. So this is still the cutoff. Now, with that said, we moved on after the owner came out and started screaming. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at. So we moved on, and the next day was Thanksgiving. I didn't have a tour. I worked in retail for over 20 years in management. I was not working on Thanksgiving ever again. So the next day I got a phone call. It's November 28th of the same year. The tourist office asked me to go down halfway, which is what we're allowed to do, or reroute my tour. So obviously there was a complaint. I didn't think it was fair for my groups of 10 to spread out to try to investigate around 20 to 60 people shuffling in and out of here. So I decided I'm going to reroute my tour and just tell the story outside of it. So I told my team before we went to the next stop that I didn't believe in the story, which at the time I didn't. I'm a vampire person, not a pirate person. So I knew a little bit about piracy, but I told them we're going to wing it and see what happens. Before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I did not tell them we were going to be investigating the famous female pirate Anne Bonny. So I was like, all right, maybe something is going to happen. We get down there, I told a little bit about piracy, what I did know. Somebody else hears the number 300 on a spirit box. I didn't know what that meant until I'm doing the research the next day. We were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was on November 28th of 1720. We started going there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So I keep taking you guys back there night after night after night. I told you, I'm a vampire guy. I've read more pirate books than I've wanted to since then. Stacks of them, trying to put together a factual story based on pirate lore. It's very difficult to do. You guys are lucky I have a master's degree in creative writing. I can piece it together. So, it is a hit or miss location, but we will be spreading out like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site after we go through the history, so everybody will be able to explore. There's like 15 stories on that corner, which means every tour in town stops up there. We're going to stay out of their way. So again, I'll find us a good spot so we can get through the pirate history. Worst case scenario, if we don't have any activity, is a crazy ass pirate story. Especially we got mainly females here tonight, so you guys are gonna love this shit. You guys should see me during Women's History Month. Like I'm a superstar because we talked about Eliza, we talked about all kinds of things. But anyway, we will get bleed over from this spot as well. So expect things from this story that I just told you. So again, oh, by the way, this gate, I always forget to tell the story of the gate. Not everybody knows why this gate is here. Remember I told you that the alley didn't go all the way through this way? This was which means they would have had to carry a loser of a duel all the way down to Queen Street to get to the cemetery on the next street over on Church Street. This was a shortcut. I call this the death gate because if there was a loser to the duel, they'd pick up the dead body, take him over to the cemetery, to a pre-dug grave, drop the body, and go celebrate the winner with a pint. Like, that's just kind of how shit went down back then. So again, talking 1700s, crazy times. Leanne's, you're looking at me like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, I'm not going by that gate. I'm sorry.
The gate is actually really cool. The gate actually wasn't there, just the doorway. So this gate is probably put there between, I would say, early to mid-1910s, 1920s. So just based on the iron. and that's my guesstimate, so don't quote me on that. But we are going to head out this way for those of you with video cameras. If you want to continue recording, you can. Looks like yours is actually stopped.
Yeah, I stopped it.
So if you want to continue recording, you can, but we're going to be heading up to the Powder Magazine to go over some crazy pirate stuff. You guys good with that? All right, let's do this. Let's head up this way. And we will get an argument with the tour guide via online with that. She's like, you don't know your history? I'm like, look, I did my research. I know what this is. Yes, it was. But, again, I'm the wordsmith. Like, you should... I dare any of you to go back and read the bad reviews of what my responses were to this. So, by the way, I get those angry people that show up and have no idea they're going to be working with equipment, and then it's like they give me a 1 star and the equipment was lame or whatever they put up there, and I'm like, for every bad comment you give me, I'm giving you a full paragraph back. So, again, I'm the writer. I'm that guy. So, go ahead. I dare any of you to leave a 1 star. No threats, I promise.
Hey, I'm off tomorrow, fella.
You're all about fighting. Like, every group has guys. Like, are we throwing? Take the camera, man. So, all right. So this is our last hurrah. So this is kind of like my big finale. But I'm sure you guys notice there's a bunch of other tours around here. I'm going to show you why they all go across the street to the cemetery over there. So, Kayla, we got to get some smiles out of you, girl. Like, you are so like focused. Like, have some fun. There you go. There's a couple smiles. You keep telling me to turn my spirit box on. She's the only one that makes noise. Alright, so every tour goes across the street to St. Philip Cemetery. That's the eastern side. So if you're native to Charleston and going to the church, you get buried on that side. So
It says mass on my thing.
Oh, we're right next to a church. We're going to get a lot of religious terms here.
Just said that, right.
Especially with religious terms, by the way, you're going to hear a lot of them just because of where we are. Notice none of you heard anything prior to us getting up into this area with religious terms. So, but anyway. Charles Pinckney, the husband, and Charles Pinckney, the nephew of Eliza, are both buried across the street because they're from here. They were born here. They're native Charlestonians. If you're not from here, you go across the street behind this wall. So John Calhoun, your 7th vice president, is actually buried on the other side of this wall. So we do get clues from John from time to time, but I don't focus on him. I will tell you that they moved his sarcophagus several times, trying to figure out which side he belonged to, like shuffling him across the street. So it just turns out he's not from here. He just lived here for a very long time. So those are the groups that I walk away from, everybody, just so everybody knows. So if they show up like that, we're not doing anything. So you're like so focused too. I love how you're like looking down. I gotta hear what he's saying. So across the street, there's a sign right inside the cemetery. It says, "There's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost." Of course, the church put it there. The reason why is because there's a story behind it. 1888, a young lady dies by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. And we just talked about initials over there with Ralph Isaacs. Sue's initials show up here all the time. SHH. It is very cheesy, very campy. I don't even like telling you guys this, but we hear it all the time. SHH. Again, I hate telling you, but it does show up. So she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. Very sad story. They're going to make it a big drama thing. But a local photographer in 1987 decides that he's going to take photographs of our beautiful cemeteries, and he captures a full apparition when he's going through all of his photographs that he's developing. It's 1987. He doesn't know what to make of the apparition, so he sends it to Kodak, because he doesn't have the technology like we do to be able to analyze it. Kodak doesn't know what to do with this picture either. So, for guys like me, this thing is gold. However, to females, this thing is cursed. Even in a digital format, handling it on a tablet or a cell phone is going to give you the same symptoms that we talked about at the very beginning of the tour: headache, nausea, dizziness. So I'm going to ask, because we're mostly females here tonight, that you do not touch the damn tablet. Females that are pregnant and handling the picture are said to not have a good pregnancy. I'm not going to be the guy where somebody had a great vacation or honeymoon, and 9 months later I cursed your family. So I'm going to show everybody the photographs so you all see what they're looking at over there and trying to recreate. It's on the one across the street. It's the other side of it. So when we spread out the cameras, I usually say, if you guys want to go over there, just don't interrupt the other tours and try to recreate this photograph. So I'll start over here because you guys are like super curious. This is not the picture that he took. The apparition is right here. This is the one leaned over right here. There's a baby basket next to it. This is probably another instance where the baby is buried with mom. There's the full picture. Your apparition, your shoulders, but there's the baby basket next to her that everybody misses. And this is Sue Howard Hardy's grave. Full pic. There's your apparition. Even when you zoom in further on a computer, the weaving on the basket is crystal clear. Like, it's super
And
creepy.
where's her headstone?
Her headstone is this right here, right behind her. So as far as over there, it's a little bit further in the back. So he probably had a zoom lens on, and there probably wasn't the gate that was there the way it's set up right now, because everybody's trying to recreate this. They even went as far as putting up a light that directs right at the sign to try to deter any photographs from being taken without any light flares. So again, my equipment cuts right through that light. So again, the 2 cameras we have, hopefully if they go over there, maybe they'll find something. You never know. So, but that's the reason why every ghost tour goes over there. I let them have it. I'll tell the quick story of it over here. Again, this is their one show and tell. You guys are obviously using crazy gear. That's a little bit more exciting than staring at a picture. So, let's get into pirates, shall we? You guys into pirates or no? Okay, so we got one winner. We'll take it. So, we're going to be discussing that little building first. So, that's kind of ties into our story. The little building is called Gunpowder Magazine. So, those are not crosses on the building. Those are first pictures. So this place works if you don't know them, they're basically turnbuckles. If you ever look at this place, like what we did in 1896, we took those turnbuckles, we just shrink the building back up to save it from further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. So you always have way more of this, because that's the first governmental building, latest governmental building in South Carolina. Those are to protect the oldest government building we have in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. We're here because this is the same time period that Anne Bonny came to Charleston to start her new life. So this building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? I know, right? Our story begins right in the middle of its construction. Follow me, there's a lot of twists on this one. 1708. Young lady moves here by the name of Anne Cormack. She moves here from Ireland. She's with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far? Okay, the 3 of them are running away from his wife, angry with her. Because again, obviously cheating with the mistress. So that's a whole other scandal that we won't get into. That's another 20 minutes. But at any rate, they land in Georgetown. So Georgetown is just north of here if you're not from here. It's in between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. So that means he has to send young Anne down here to be able to sell anything from the plantation to keep things afloat. Now, that's why we're here. This building will be something familiar to her. Anne back home in Ireland is said to be a badass. When she was back home, like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, they say she killed one of her servants with a knife to the belly. Like, just kind of giving you the mentality of this chick as we kind of go through the rest of her story. Fast forward, the building's done in 1713. Pirates are coming through town in 1715. So Anne is stoked. She wants her freedom, just like a man. She's going to fall in love pretty quickly. Guy number 1, we're going to keep tally. There's a handful. Anne, you look really worried. You okay?
I'm good.
Okay.
Keep it going.
Now, guy number 1 turns out to be James Bonny. You see where this one's going, right?
James Bond?
James Bonny.
Oh, okay.
Nice try. 007 was quite a few centuries later.
Okay.
So, I can pick him right back to him. So, anyway, James Bonny, Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate, right? They run away to Jamaica, they elope, and Cormac is now Anne Bonny, famous female pirate. So, when you get there, this is not Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for, because every young lady wants a Captain Jack Sparrow, right? Yeah. This guy is a privateer. He's a spy. New wedding coming up. So, I love when people want to celebrate their new life by looking for dead people. And that works. That line works for people celebrating birthdays, weddings, all kinds of stuff. Both sides, so we're crisscrossing over top of each other in between the floors.
Right, right.
So the subfloors. And I talk to a lot of Californians, and they all laugh whenever I bring stuff up like this because they're like, yeah, you know that don't work, right? Yeah, I know. So you heard Jack and anything else?
Interesting. That's an old building. You have to look around.
Hmm. Best to turn it.
Yeah, they tighten it and make the building straighter. Words that pop up, I didn't read.
So it's all the tourists come. So you want to see some crazy
What do you think?
Well, we had a lot of paranormal activity.
Well, we don't know tonight.
I don't know. I thought I would have felt it.
It's 40/60.
Really?
That's why they say you go back and you review footage, you see something you missed. You're not going to see
Yeah,
everything.
but like the most common words aren't the words, you know, that, like, you know, like I would say the word kill and all these things. That doesn't mean anything, but he knows the words. I mean, that's really cool church. That's a church. I'd love to see that cemetery too. Is that the cemetery they're going into? No, they're going to one on that side.
No. Wonder if anybody's follow any specific person.
I mean, are you supposed to like see like little blue jumpy and little black jumpy or?
Hmm?
I wouldn't be surprised because again, my husband's across the street.
I've heard like gospel music 3 separate times.
Just gonna write it
I
down.
heard, I didn't make out what it said, but I heard a voice right over there by the tree.
Were you near anybody with a video camera? All right, let's see what's going on with that word list. What do you got going on there?
I heard
Word
Esther.
Esther? That's a very specific name.
Wild 5, although address special weed and unwanted universe.
I like 5 because that was the amount of children she had. Remember,
Oh.
1 in Cuba, 4 after her prior
Okay.
career. So again, vague, but we'll take it.
Could have been a wild time.
I'm sure it was. We normally get things relative to water, so you did have, I think, water or something along that, but we'll get like
Yeah.
boat, wave,
Yeah.
sloop. You know, weird things will start popping up just around water terms. So
Right. Okay.
you actually did a nice job with that. You didn't break the camera at all.
Not yet. I'm still young.
That bloodletting, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and especially with Rose, when Rose shows up, I know we're probably going to have something else.
Black.
Have a
Pirates.
black-
That's what I was thinking.
Blackbeard thing right there.
It's supposed to be over here now?
I don't know. He said it right away.
Right here, in this corner?
Maybe show it around. Like what's that over there? Is that anything? I don't know what you're looking for.
I think we're looking for a figure like us, but
I thought he said a color. Has to be
yeah,
blue
but it's
or
bluish.
Oh.
What's your hair color?
they've seen orbs in this area. He just showed me a video from this camera 2 days ago.
And there was?
Yeah, it like swooped up behind him.
Oh, wow.
He was standing like right here, so I was getting them both on video, so maybe we could see the orb
That would be awesome.
come up. Like, it was so cool.
Perfect night in
Pretty.
Charleston.
The tree and
Yeah.
isn't that beautiful?
It's a beautiful night.
It is a beautiful night. It was nice, honey. I really enjoyed it. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. We had to change the
Yeah, we needed to do something.
change the tone.
You can't just sit around.
Fucking not with that crowd.
When the baby can move, they can be stroller and we can go out.
Every time we come down, we should do something.
Yeah. No, it was a great idea. You guys picking anything up?
I'm not getting anything.
I mean, the words I think mean something don't mean anything. How about Hudson? I don't know really what they're coming from. Radio station?
Oh, definitely got a good deltoid workout tonight.
Yeah, there's your workout.
So they're going to try to get some footage and pictures of the cemetery across the street and come back over, and then we'll wrap things up.
Okay,
You have-
Hudson? With Hudson in it?
No?
Now, am I going over there too?
You can if you want. They're just going to try to get some, like a little bit of footage of some of the cemeteries, see if they can get anything over there.
Okay.
Okay.
Walking over the cemetery.
I think there's people over there.
You're allowed to walk into the cemetery. They can
Yeah, but
teach
there's
you.
groups, too many people. Look.
Oh, you can't go in. You can only walk up to the gate. Two. You can walk up to the gate a little bit. You can also listen to people. They're trying to give out juicier stories, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't. He's not going to be that normal
No, these stories are different than that.
story. You go this way, Dustin.
Oh, like there's an opening?
This is a cemetery? No.
No, this is the entrance over here.
Oh, wow.
You did it. We're a road trip. Okay. So we can go and play ping.
It's a very small cemetery.
We could ride the bus.
Horse races.
That sounds terrible.
Cheers to the governor. That's ride the bus was the game of choice in my fantasy football draft. It was great.
Card game?
Yeah, so you go around. That is red or black, you can pick one. If you get it right, you give out the you get it wrong.
A decent time. Like a.
They took a picture, and then it said photograph. They took a picture, and this popped up, photograph. I thought that was pretty weird. And then it said crawl, but right when she took that picture, I looked at it, and it said photograph.
Well, they know they're here.